This is 60 pounds of jasmine rice, 67 pounds of assorted beans. I got 48 cans of corn and peas, 6 5-gallon Gamma Seal buckets in black, Mylar bags with the oxygen absorbers, and all of this came in at just $300. And this is a 1 to 2 month supply of survival food for a family of 5. Now, that's pretty cool, but it took me a while to figure out exactly how this should be done. So I wanted to make a video where I make it easy. I'm gonna show you how to know how much you should get, how to divide it, how to store it, as well as the basic information behind the science. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing you need to know is why people choose these foods to store long term. The first reason is because these contain the basic things your body's gonna need in order to survive. So for example, the rice is your main source for carbohydrates, for calories, which is how your body will produce energy. The beans are the main source for protein, which is essential to the body to maintain your mass, to build muscle. They also have different micronutrients like iron and potassium and fiber. We know the body needs that. But they're not the greatest source for all your vitamins, your minerals. So for that, we turn to vegetables because these are a great source of those things. And they don't just have to be canned vegetables. Many people also have dried fruits and vegetables. I actually have some videos on making powders and supplements. Those are awesome as well because they have a long shelf life and they maintain most of their nutrient content. The only thing these aren't the best source of are things like saturated fats. So if we were just living off of these, you probably are going to be still pursuing sources for fats, whether that's in nuts or seeds or different oils that you're cooking with, as well as meats, of course. But besides that, this is pretty much everything you need and why these are so popular to store long term. Okay, now the second thing you need to know is going to be the basic science behind how this food is going to last over 20 years. And that's because we are going to limit its exposure to things like oxygen, to light, to moisture by using Mylar bags in these Gamma Seal 5-gallon buckets in black. Now, I like the Mylar bags because these can be sealed shut. So I'm gonna be putting in rice and beans. I'm gonna throw in an oxygen absorber and pull all the air out, seal it shut. That's gonna be perfect for the longest shelf life. Now, I also like these bags because they're not clear. You see some people storing them in clear bags, which is okay, that seals it shut, but I do like the extra protection against the light. And everything that I have in these bags, I am then going to store in these buckets because one, it'll provide an extra layer of protection against the air and light, but also against pests, right? You don't want to store these in a place and then come find that they've been raided by mice. So this is gonna provide some great protection. And you know, these buckets can also double as their own storage. I have some bigger Mylar bags and I've seen people actually store the whole thing with rice or beans or other legumes. So these are very valuable for the whole long-term storage, method. By the way, the cans, these typically will last 5 years on average, but if you keep them in a cool and dark place or even store them in other things like these Gamma Seal buckets, they can last up to 10. But overall, by doing it this way, we are just ensuring that this food's going to last as long as possible for even over 20 to 30 years. Now let's go ahead and get into how to divide this. So the way you figure out how much you should buy starts at calculating how much each person will have per meal. The way I've calculated this is 1/4 cup of uncooked rice per person per meal, 1/4 cup of beans per person per meal, and 1 can of either peas or corn per meal. Now, you could have your portions larger than that or smaller, but in either case, whatever that number is, then multiply that times how many meals you're gonna have in a day. Since this is a survival food, I'm gonna say 2 meals in a day. Then you take that number and multiply it times how many people you're trying to cook for. and that will give you the total amount you need per day for your household. For me, that's going to be 2.5 cups of rice, 2.5 cups of beans, and 2 cans. And ideally, then you're just kind of buying in bulk. And I'd say you need anywhere between 1 to 3 months or even more of a storage supply. From there, you can get an idea of how you should divide it up. So in my case, I think it'd be nice to divide them into 1 week stashes. I have these 1 gallon bags, Mylar. I also have a 5 gallon bag. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this because it's so big, but that's what I'm shooting for. I imagine maybe I can get like half a week in each bag. That's the goal. So I'm gonna go ahead, weigh out the beans, weigh out the rice, and then set them aside with the cans broken up by weeks. My unit here is not sealing them. It's not doing a great job. So instead, we are going to try an iron. You know, I think I've seen some people do this. Hopefully it works. Let's see if we can seal them up that way. Oh, that was phenomenal. That worked amazing. Oh, way better than I thought that would work. Okay, first thing we got to do, I'm gonna weigh out around 69 ounces for each of these Mylar bags. Pour it in. We have to throw in an oxygen absorber. While it sits, toss it in. Now I'm just gonna label it rice. Could also put how many ounces is in there, or even how many days it's supposed to last. And into the bucket it goes. And now we'll do the beans. I have a 2-pound bag of pinto, a 1-pound bag of light red kidney beans, and a 1-pound bag of black beans. These together make 4 pounds, which is perfect for the half-week portion I can fit in each of these bags. You obviously don't have to mix them. You could do just one kind, divvy that up how you like. But I'm gonna go ahead, pour them in. All right, I have just finished dividing out all the food. Each one of these buckets is a 1 week supply of beans and rice for a family of 5 at the serving size I chose earlier per person per meal. Now, each one of these 1 gallon Mylar bags fit around 70 ounces of rice and beans nicely for me, which is around a half-week supply. So each of these buckets just has 4 bags in them between the two. And I could stash the cans in the extra space, but honestly, I think I want to use it for other things. These buckets with the gamma seal tops are pretty nice. And there's many other things I'd like to store, whether it's spices or some dried fruits, vegetables, the supplements, the powders that I make. So I just want to make use of that, and I have a pretty good spot to put this, so I think the cans will be okay. I should get at least 5 years out of those. Wow, that was pretty difficult, but totally worth it, because now we can screw these tops off and they have the gamma seal. So not only is it easier than the snap-on tops, but it's gonna keep it more airtight inside. So that is a nice feature that is totally worth it. So now I'm gonna go store this in a cool and dry place, which is also important if you want the longest shelf life. And I have to say, I'm pretty thankful I was able to do this, because you know, it's almost like I wish I could have done more, but for the 300 I could put towards it right now, I have to say I think I got a lot out of it. Like, this is 6 weeks supply. I have some beans bagged individually. I have 2 other bags of rice. Like, in total, this is a 2-month supply. And it's crazy to think that even over a decade from now, if God forbid we needed it, we have it. And I think that provides some peace of mind. And if this video has helped you or inspired you in your prepping journey, if it did, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.